Hey, it's Tyler Miller again with the Tyler Miller team at Edina Realty, here to talk to you about step 2 of buying a house. You probably already watched our first video that talks about, what the heck do I do if I want to buy a house and you're just not sure where to start. That was obviously, you got to choose a realtor, align yourself with the right team moving forward, and that will kind of put everything else in motion. But step 2 is just as important, if not more important. So they're kind of 1 and 1A. So step 2 on our home buyer consultation that we would do with our buyers is get pre-approved. So I'm sure you guys have already heard, lots of stuff about, hey, you got to talk to a loan officer, talk to a bank, talk to a credit union, but how do you choose the right one, and how do you know which ones are good, which maybe you're not getting the right information? There's a lot that goes into this step as well. And so I'm just going to talk to you about a couple different things about making sure that you know how to choose the right loan officer. Just know the reason you need a pre-approval is that it's just the first thing that any seller is going to ask us for when we go to write your offer is your buyer pre-approved? And so you're going to have this pre-approval letter to submit along with your offer so that you can be taken seriously. If you go to write an offer, or if you're looking at houses even without a pre-approval, you're kind of just wasting everybody's time. And that may sound harsh, but it's the truth. You're more so wasting your time only because you don't know what you can afford. You don't know how much it's going to cost for you to buy that house, and there's a lot that goes into it. So it's a lengthy process, but you want to make sure you do this before you go see any houses or write any offers. So that's why it's important, is the sellers are going to basically require it. So now it's where do you go? Where do you go to get pre-approved? Now, as I mentioned, there's many different places. You can go to the big banks that you've heard of. You can go to more like local lenders, local banks, or there's also credit unions. So all three, have their benefits and disadvantages. But what I would tell you is whatever realtor you choose on step 1, I would really lean on them for, who do you guys work with regularly? Why do you work with those people regularly? And then ask for a few referrals. Whether you're getting referrals from your realtor or from some family and friends, I would always tell you that's the best way to choose a loan officer, because those people have been through the process, they know what to expect, and they know if it was a good or a bad deal. And so for us, I always tell all of our clients, hey, we have a couple really good loan officer partners for you. I'd be happy to introduce you. And then you can get a quote from them. You can also get another opinion, and then you can use whoever you'd like. So that's what we always say. We always introduce people to our lenders who are some of the best in the industry. So that would be kind of the easiest way to go ahead and choose one, but just know you can work with whoever you'd like. Another reason why lenders kind of look good or bad is their communication and their hours. Believe it or not, a lot of lenders, they work until 5 o'clock and then they go home, and that's fine for them, but for you, that's usually when we're out looking at houses. So in the event we need a pre-approval letter for that specific home because you want to write an offer and I can't get a hold of your loan officer, that's going to be a problem. So you want to have somebody who's available 24/7, basically. Somebody who can, take text messages, take emails, take phone calls after hours, and be okay with that. And there are plenty out there, but there are also a lot of loan officers that don't. So again, just gotta be careful there. You gotta make sure we know, like, and trust them. And again, that's gonna really be based on either referrals you get, or if you just do some online, looking at reviews, that's another great way to choose a loan officer. It's always a good idea to get a second opinion, because kind of the way it works in the loan industry is, if you get 2 opinions, usually you can guarantee you're going to get the best price, the best rate, all that stuff. Most banks have very similar rates, but it's usually the cost to get those rates is what sometimes changes. And so somebody may say, hey, I can get you this interest rate, but what they may not be telling you up front is it's going to cost you some money to get that. So, you really want to do a little bit of shopping, make sure that you're getting a fair shake at your loan. And then, so we get into the nitty-gritty of the loans themselves, and some people have some questions. So I'm sure you've heard of FHA loans or conventional loans, or even VA loans. And there's definitely a difference between all 3 of them. I would say, if possible, the most beneficial usually is a conventional loan, because if you buy a house and you have mortgage insurance on it, you can then get that removed when you reach 20% equity. So it's with FHA and VA, VA doesn't have mortgage insurance, but with FHA loans, that will stay on your loan the length of the loan regardless if you have 20% equity or not. So it's a way to get your payments lower if you buy a conventional loan for the future. Let's see here, we want to establish your down payment, and that's where a loan officer is going to come in, because they're going to walk you through all the different scenarios based on if you put 5%, 10%, 20% down, 3% down, no money down. You know, there's all these different scenarios, and your down payment affects certain fees and structure of your loan. So again, you just want to talk to that loan officer up front to make sure that you're locked in at what your plan's going to be, what is in your best interest, and what will work for you moving forward. Now, when we're walking through the house, a couple things here I want to mention to you is, you know, a lot of loan officers, they'll just say, hey, you're approved up to 300 or 400, but they don't always necessarily break down the monthly payment. That's something that you want to really get from the loan officer, but just know that our team is trained to really break it down from a monthly payment standpoint for you, so you can really understand, you know, what does a $300,000 house actually mean for my month-to-month bills, which I think is most important to most people. And then the last thing that you really want to talk to the loan officer about are closing costs. So you have your down payment. Everybody just thinks this is it, right? But then, oh, surprise, there's this other thing called closing costs. And so let's just say your down payment is 5% on a $300,000 house, so it's $15,000. But then you have closing costs, which is usually another 3% or so of the sale price. And so, you know, it probably wouldn't be more than about $10,000 for a $300,000 house. But now instead of 15 grand, you're looking at $25,000 you need in cash to buy this house. And so that's just what you just need to think about, those things, and really have a good plan versus let's just go see houses and we'll figure it out later, because you might not be able to afford that house. Now, the good news is a lot of these closing costs we can hopefully get the seller to help pay for, but it's not always a guarantee, so you want to just have a good plan. I'm not trying to overwhelm you too much, but there are so many things we could talk about with step 2. Getting pre-approved is different for everybody. It depends on your job, it depends on your length of your employment, it depends on a ton of different things. And so that's why you just really want to talk to a really good loan officer that you know has tons of experience dealing with people just like yourself. And so if you have any further questions on step 2, just make sure that you reach out to the Tyler Miller team here at Edina Realty. We'll get you in touch with one of our amazing lender partners, and you can start the approval process. Thanks guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.